Yeah, so this is a second recording of the recap. The audio was a bit cooked for the first one, so I'll just go through it. Um, Alright, so getting into the day, it's the 31st. I'm recapping on today's trades and today's price action. So, from open at 6 p.m. yesterday, we see that we created a new day opening gap, and from Asia, we tap it once and twice, and that's where we created the manipulation part of the daily candle, and that was about 20 points. I'll show you guys, show it here. Yeah, nearly 20 points, and I was expecting a bit more of a manipulation lower, and so coming forth and after coming forth into the session, and also seeing this Asia and London consolidation, my bias was bearish. I wanted to see this as sell side and this low as sell side, and maybe even tap into this before we did any sort of expansion to the upside. And that's where I went wrong today. And at open, I'll show you guys what happened. At open, um, I impulsively thought that this break of structure, this massive break of structure, was an SMT. Now at the same time, ES was maybe lagging around right here, not displacing as heavily, and so this made me think that this was the SMT and that the bearish move was going to take place. And so to get in, impulsively, I took a short on this candle close with a stop around 77 ticks. And it looked really good from here. I was originally only targeting this low, so it was about that much. It would have been like a nearly 400 tick trade. Once I saw this displacement, I thought I was looking perfect. And what I didn't notice when I held through this trade was an SMT forming, which would have been this 927 and this 936. I can show you guys what that looked like on ES. Which was here. So we can see that ES took out that low. But I didn't see this during that time, and I was really kind of hoping that this worked out anyway. I didn't want to abandon my bias too early. Maybe I was going to get stopped down, the move would happen. But yeah, this fair value gap got violated and consolidated in that fair value gap, and it took me out. But as it stopped me out, I began to look at the opposing way. As I began to think about in what way could my trade be wrong and it could go the opposite way, I began to realize that we already have this SMT. Now, as I'm losing this trade, I currently see that we have this SMT. And then now I'm seeing price consolidate right in here. Now I'm considering, or if we take our high side or go further up the new week opening gap, which is what I'm in, because as price was consolidating, it was in the lower quadrant of the new week opening gap, and maybe even target this high. That was my buy side target if we ever ended up bullish. And so I did some projections, which was with this 5-minute leg. This was the last 5-minute leg before the break of structure, and it also took out liquidity. So it's a manipulation leg that I can project up to find targets. And we can already see that it's pretty darn accurate. The 2 to 2.5 is ideally where I like to look for targets. And if it lines up with it, it's like good confluence for my trade. And not only did this one line up, but also this manipulation, this SMT. So on ES, we came out and took this low. It was the 946 low, which is a consolidation inside the inversion fair value gap on NQ. Right here, this inversion. And ES takes out that low. It soups it. And so from here, I'm immediately thinking longs. And after a rejection candle, which is the up close candle, I realized that we don't really need to come back into OTE again because that's literally what we did right here. And we're just going to see a continuation to the buy side delivery. Now, as I project this, I actually entered the trade before I did this projection because I found this sufficient. So I enter on this up close candle and I'm targeting this buy side pull. And once I project that manipulation leg out, I also see that it pretty much lines up really close to it. And it gave me confidence to hold the trade. Maybe some like mental stuff wise. As price came back right here after the entry, I was pretty nervous that I would get stopped out or break even because I wanted to see a full green week. And not only that, I don't like to be wrong, and like it felt wrong to be opposing my bias. So that's, I guess, one thing that I have to journal and continuously work on, like being okay with switching my bias as long as I'm respecting what price tells me. And so yeah, we come back, retrace into this 1 minute fair value gap. And from there we rally up a lot higher. Now this entire trade was within the 950 to 1010 macro, and that's during the time with it's just where the 10-minute candle or 10-hour candle forms, or yeah, 10 o'clock candle. That's where we're going to see the expansion of it. So from 10 a.m., which is from here, we just create a small wick on the 4-hour candle, and we create that run up higher. Now another place I was nervous when it came here. This part was it rebalancing inside of a 3-minute fair value gap. As shown here, maybe it's hard to see. I'll just delete this for now. That 3-minute fair value gap. And I was really worried that I was going to get stopped out again. And I would have been, that's where I moved my stop up to here. As soon as I saw this down close candle form, I moved it here. Now that would have covered this losing trade, and it would have also covered enough to be green on the day, so that it helps me keep my peace of mind. And I was ready to close the trade if it closed below the 3-minute fair value gap. But in the end, it just picked back up and it delivered to that buy side liquidity. And yeah, it's a pretty good trade. I'm happy with it. And yeah, just some internal reflections to do, but good way to note all the concepts and how everything works together in order to support a trade or support a bias.